Hello and thank you for joining us. My name is Dylan Little with the Mid-Continent Public Library. This is the 26th year of the Mid-Continent Public Library's Veteran Salute, an annual tradition honoring and highlighting the stories and service of our local veterans. Going back several years, the library has taken the opportunity to record the stories of local veterans with the help of our Midwest Genealogy Center. If you joined us last year, you may have viewed our interviews with a remarkable group of local Korean War veterans. This year, we're back to work with local filmmaker Kevin Bryce to highlight a new generation of veterans, those who joined the service in the wake of 9/11. As you will soon discover, every veteran story is as dynamic as it is powerful. We are lucky to have a chance to share these Kansas City area veterans in the weeks to come. Before we turn over the focus to this group of extraordinary individuals with their stories of service, we want to preface this special program with a heads up. This presentation contains adult language and graphic descriptions of violence. It may not be suitable for all ages, and viewer discretion is advised.
And so you were given deployment orders. Where did that send you?
So the deployment orders were for Iraq. My husband and I quickly got married.
Doing things like buying rolls and rolls and rolls of toilet paper and taking the cardboard out of the middle and smashing them down as far as they could go so we could pack as much as possible. And
we knew we were getting orders. We got orders that summer, so we got to take our block leave, come back to our families and, hey, we're getting ready to go. And then we hopped on a C-130 and went into Iraq, and we landed in Baghdad, and again, it was the middle of the night. And I just remember stepping off the C-130 and two F-16s are screaming off down the runway. There's just planes and helicopters and everyone everywhere, and it was really feeling like I am such a small cog. There's billions of dollars sitting on this runway alone.
And I'll never forget that day. We filed off the plane in a single file, and I was the second to last person off the plane. And right as I'm walking off the plane, in the distance, I just heard a boom, boom, boom. And each one got a little bit louder, and we were really not in any danger. But when your wheels down in a combat zone for the first time, it is definitely a wake-up call that you're in a whole nother world, that you have officially arrived in a place where people are going to try to hunt and kill you, and there's no guarantees.
It's all unknown. You don't know what's going to happen. And when Spencer got there, because of operational security, we don't talk about, whatever happens, but he would hint, flying tonight with a group of people who did something really special in May. Well, that was the SEAL team that took down Osama bin Laden.
How much time did you spend in Baghdad?
We just spent a couple weeks from Baghdad, and then we went up to Mosul. We got there right before the crackdown of Fallujah. And so that's when, things got crazy. They started blowing up police stations. So the last remaining police station was actually in the center of town. It was these old castle walls that were built by Alexander the Great. You're standing on these walls, staring out into the dark, like some Roman legionnaire
Roman legion.
thousands of years ago. And really the only thing has changed is I have night vision, so I can see a little further than he could. It was a cool experience that castle was. It's no longer there. ISIS destroyed it after we left.
So you're with a unit that blows things up.
Yep.
So as a medic, what do you do in that role?
The route clearance mission is undoubtedly one of the most dangerous roles in Iraq or Afghanistan. When we were in Baghdad, our job was to clear all of the main supply routes, which is where 95% of the bombs are probably. So we spent all of our time basically driving about 10 miles per hour down these roads looking for bombs before they blow up. And a lot of times the bombs are designed to hit a route clearance patrol.
Really, so there was this one road on the northern end of town that they would put a lot of them in. And again, we just didn't have the troops to monitor the road. They got smart, too. We can, we'll shoot at people putting a bomb in the road, but they'll just have pay kids to go dig a hole. And so they do the stuff, no, we're not going to shoot kids. And then they'll just come and toss it in the hole. They will get a van and they'll cut a hole in the center. And just drive it over the road and then melt the road, put the bomb in it, and then put the road back on top.
And they're not stupid. I mean, these bombs are extremely sophisticated. They place them with an unbelievable amount of intention. So they're putting them there to kill people. And if they've built a bomb to hit somebody in a different kind of vehicle, they're going to wait until that kind of vehicle comes by before they set it off.
The vehicles were amazing. You know, I was heartbroken when I found out I was in these Stryker vehicles, because to me it was like medium armor. That doesn't sound good. Like,
right.
It sounds like a Pepsi can.
Yeah.
It's going to get filled with holes. But they're very survivable vehicles. I'm actually here. I'm alive.
Yeah.
Because of them. I had 2 blown out from under me and deadlined. And that would not have happened in a Humvee. I mean, those explosions would have just destroyed the vehicle and killed everyone in it.
We were chosen to lead the assault during the Battle of Sadr City, which was March to May of '08, some of the heaviest fighting of the entire war. There was more tank rounds fired during those 3 months than there were the entire rest of the Iraq War and in Afghanistan combined. So pretty fierce fighting. And, you know, some of those days we'd find 8, 10, 12 bombs. I think one day we found like 18 bombs or something crazy like that in like a 100-meter stretch.
So this was a terrorist attack. So in a sense, the war came to you.
So this day we were taking pregnancy tests, people were getting anthrax and smallpox shots, and I sit down, and at this point all of the rows of chairs are full. And then all of a sudden a man jumps up in the rows of chairs in front of me and shouts Allah Akbar and starts shooting directly into the crowd that I'm sitting in. And I feel something burning on the top of my head, and I grab the top of my head and I look and I see blood. At that point I realized I needed to move. So I called 911 and I just put my phone down by my side and I started crawling through this heaval right now. There's chairs everywhere, there's partitions down, there's people injured and no one knows what's going on. So I start crawling and I turn around and I look behind me and I see him shooting people on the ground, and I'm just waiting for him to continue to raise his weapon until he shoots me again. At this point I see red and green lasers on the partitions, and I look forward now in front of me and I'm on the ground on my belly, and a man charges the shooter with a chair. And I believe this man to be Captain Gaffney, who gave his life in that moment. That gave me the opportunity to get up and run to my right around the partitions. And they're just a bunch of different cubicles. I'd probably say there's maybe 8 of them all together. I see another one of my sergeants, and he's very tall, Sergeant Winston. So I grab the back of his blouse and just go back and forth. And he's pacing, and he can see over, and he's watching the shooter. And when the shooter goes to reload, he runs out the front door where the shooter originally started shooting from. At this point, I think he's in the back of the building, and then I run out shortly after him out that same door.
You know, I was 20, I turned 22 when I was over there. And for a vast majority of the time over there, it was just a job, and you're young and full of piss and vinegar. You think you're a lot tougher than you are, and eventually that kind of gets shattered. But when I was there, I didn't worry about that too much. You know, we just tried to do our absolute best.
If you're interested in learning more about this program, please visit mymcpl.org/veteran salute. If you're a veteran or concerned about one, there are caring and qualified VA responders standing by 24/7 with the Veterans Crisis Line at 1-800-243-8255 or via text at 838-255.